It's all good.
Hey, I'm Nicholas Prom,
I'm Chase.
And I'm Dylan.
and you're watching Posers Must
Posers must
Die.
die.
Hey guys, before we get into our regular segments and stuff, I want to plug a book that just came out. It's called The Final Assault. Oh, here we go. I just realized I could do this. The Final Assault: The Rise and Demise of Thrash Metal Titans. Nuclear Assault. This is the story of Nuclear Assault as told by their drummer, Glenn Evans. It just came out. You can get your copy wherever books are purchased, like Amazon and stuff. And yeah, that is a thing. So if you're like me and you've loved the Nukes since you were 15, or you've loved them since yesterday, get this book. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So anyway, without that out of the way, why don't we talk about? We have a new album to review. It is Warbringer's seventh LP, which just came out. It's called Wrath and Ruin, and I'm going to lean heavily on you guys this time. Full disclosure, I really have not followed this band's career like at all. The big thrash revival of the late aughts saw a sea of bands enter the scene, and some of those bands really grabbed me, and some of them didn't. And Warbringer at the time fell into the latter camp, and so they're kind of a big blind spot for me. But I thought this was a really good record. Yeah, I want you guys to really kind of go.
Okay. So yeah, released a week ago, March 14th on 2025 on Napalm Records. I also haven't really been paying much attention to their career. I liked War Without End a lot, and that's a pure thrash album, like you said, from the revival. But this is a completely fucking different animal, isn't it, guys?
Oh
yeah, it's not
yeah.
a thrash offering. It's a little bit of like. You got some like modern kind of thrash to it, but then you got like death infused thrash, some blackened thrash, some straight black metal even in here in some spots.
Interesting.
And I'm here for it. It was great. I loved it. It was a crushing album. It had this very oppressive tone throughout the entire. Well, I listened to the 2 disc. I think you guys did too. The second disc had a bunch of live stuff on it.
Yeah.
But that first. The first disc was just fucking heavy as shit, man. Dylan, you got some stuff to add?
No, I only listened to the main album. I didn't listen to the live stuff. But
Good.
I also am not very versed in Warbringer. I've heard of them, definitely. I don't know about their older stuff. They've been on my list of like things to check out, but I haven't gotten into it yet. But now, this album just came out. We're doing it for the show, so of course I checked them out. And this is great. I did really like this a lot. I don't know what else. I liked what you said, Chase. There's a lot of elements in here that are interesting. There were some black metal parts which were very surprising to me, but I heard them. Reviews of this seem to be outstanding, loving, hearts everywhere. Comments on the YouTube videos. Everybody seems to love this. I was getting some very like heavy Misery Index vibes. Like I was reminded a lot of Misery Index, which I love that band. One of my first like heavy metal band. Go ahead.
I wish I remembered that band because you guys have both referenced them recently, and I think I even saw them, but I can't. Like, I can't remember them, So I'm sorry about that.
When the show's over, I'll send you an album that you'll love. I'll send you an album that you'll love to check out. But yeah, I got just a little bit of those vibes. They're not copycats or anything. I was just feeling that sort of vibe when I was listening to this. But yeah, this was killer shit, man. This almost ripped my face off. I think I got out of it with a couple staples and Band-Aids, but. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is really good stuff. Very, really technical and crushing, fast.
Yeah.
Like it's all the things that you want from thrash metal, really. And the guitar tone is really good. Like this is very impressive stuff. Again, it's like, wow, I've heard like their first two albums like once or twice a piece, like just really not. And there's like 4 whole albums I've heard nothing from this band. But this is a really good record. I can't not recommend it to anyone who wants to listen to some solid thrash metal. This is quality stuff. And it's like, the bands from the thrash revival are now like part of the metal establishment, the ones that are still around, Warbringer and Havoc, and of course Toxic Holocaust and Municipal Waste, the Warbringer is a cool band. I did listen. I would want to touch on the live album, the live bonus disc. It's a really good show from I think Budapest, recorded in Budapest, and Chase, were you going to say something?
It was recorded in a couple of places. It looked like Germany was in there too.
Oh, okay. I remember some of the stage banter was they like mentioned Budapest, and so I was like, oh, okay. But I'm gonna, and this is, and the performances are great. It sounds really good. I am gonna take this moment to talk about probably my number one pet peeve in the world of metal, and that is. Here we go. Chase is like, here comes the juice. It is this. It's about stage banter. It's when you're talking to the audience, when you are introducing songs, when you are introducing band members. If you do that in your extreme metal voice, you don't sound cool. You don't sound tough. You sound like you sound weak. And when you do it, but when you do all that stuff in your normal speaking voice, it's charming. And but yeah, I hate it. It drives me crazy. I see power metal bands do that. It just don't do that. Like even death metal bands, it pisses me off. It's like no, like listen to the When Satan Lives, Deicide's first live album, or listen to like the live Opeth album. Regular speaking voice for stage banter, and it's beautiful, and that's what I want. Stop. Okay, rant over. But Warbringer, Wrath and Ruin, solid, great record.
Totally, completely. I would like to say my favorite track on the entire album is Cage of Air. It's got like almost a melodic death metal, but still thrash kind of feel to it. Almost feels like old school Black Dahlia Murder, but like thrashy.
Interesting.
And that is right in my sweet spot. And so Cage of Air is great.
Nice. And on that note, you guys talked about like the incorporating of black and death metal elements and other stuff too. And I think that might be the key to what has made some of these, the word I'm looking for is not there, but the bands from the thrash revival that stuck around were the ones that weren't just like kind of doing a silly aping of 80s thrash with this really super clean production, that didn't have like much of an edge to it. I think there was like a whole lot of that at that time. And I think the secret is like not being afraid to incorporate some of these other things to just kind of freshen it up a little bit, and you're not saying like going full on death metal or full on black metal or, whatever. But if you're a fan of music, everything this is all in the same language. Okay. It's math, it's numbers, it's patterns. And borrowing from these other kinds of patterns, other math sets, you know what I mean, is not bad. I think it's taking your vitamins along with your breakfast cereal. You know what I mean? It's okay. I don't know if that's a great analogy, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It's symbiotic in a way. I know I'm mixing metaphors. You already talked about math, but it's symbiotic. It's all from the same ecosystem. You can all live off each other. It's cool, man.
Well, right. And, yeah. I'm not sure if that's like that whole thought of mine is fully formed. It doesn't feel like it, so apologies.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But Dylan, do you have
The
any
bones
more
are there.
stuff to add? What were like any highlights for you, man?
I fucking loved the song "A Better World."
Yeah.
One of the couple songs on here I could like. I mean, I like to think I can understand lyrics from most metal stuff I listen to, even if I've never heard it before. But the lyrics for "A Better World," the ones that I could understand were very poignant, and I want to go back and actually read them and listen to that song again. But as well as Neuromancer was a good
Neuromancer.
song, and "Through a Glass Darkly" was a very good song
Glass
as
Oh,
well.
yeah. I really like that one too. So yeah, and I think also like Warbringer and their contemporaries Havoc that kind of came up. They came right on the heels of this band from that wave. They're both very socially conscious bands, and that's that's the best thing from the '80s thrash that they have carried the torch for. You know what I mean? Like, no, let's
Yeah.
keep that. That's really important. You know, I think it's part of why, like, I like death metal, but I'm not huge on it because, except from with the exception of like Napalm Death, most of these bands don't talk about anything in society. You know, and I like I like fantasy too, but I like songs that are about real shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, Warbringer Wrath of Ruin, horns up.
Two
Okay.
horns up.
Yeah, man.
That's our new Roger Ebert metalhead. Two horns up. Way up.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fun. Okay, are we ready to move on? Let's talk about Chase's classic album
All right, we got Toxic. Think This.
from 1989.
Released-
Oh, sorry.
Yep, on Road Racer Records. Remember them?
Yeah, back before when Roadrunner was Road Racer. Yeah. This
Yeah,
album.
Boys from New York. And oh yeah, no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, go. You were doing some background stuff. I was just chomping at the bit here. Sorry.
It's all good, man. Based in New York. Looks like they only had a total of 4 albums. The first 2 were released in '87 and '89, while the latter 2 were released in 2020 and 2022. So took a bit of a break there, guys, but they got got them done within 2 years of each other.
Yeah.
I will also say that this is actually my first time listening to Toxic.
Really?
So, yeah. So this is all new to me.
What?
Do you have anything else to add?
Well, what made you choose it? I'm just curious. If
Honestly, I was going through Metal Archives, and I think I was going random, and I was writing down or keeping notes in another tab about stuff that I hadn't listened to, and
Okay.
they were one that had really high marks for their albums, and I was like, why not? I mean, if I'm going to listen to something I've never listened to before, it may as well be something that's acclaimed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nah. And yeah, I heard nothing but good things, and I wasn't disappointed. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So I got some thoughts here. I had heard the first couple Toxic albums, but not in a long time. I mean, we talked recently about like the bands that were kind of like quote unquote power thrash, like thrash metal with like the soaring, clean vocals, right? Okay.
Yeah,
And this band
yeah.
definitely is part of that fraternity of groups. But what is really stands out about this band is like, wow, this is so technical, and
Yeah.
I mean, so many like jazzy like time signature changes and tempo changes. I mean, like, wow, it's really brilliant stuff. It's really like kind of a challenging listen. I was just like, this is a lot to absorb. It's super good. But it's like, okay, this is like if it's also a bit proggy too.
Yeah.
But so I think this is like if you took Watchtower's energetic disassembly and married it to Fate's Warning's No Exit, you get Toxic, think this. And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought this was great, and an Ed Repka album cover never hurts.
Straight up. Yes.
But yeah, you guys go, please. Highlights, just general thoughts.
Oh,
Dylan, you want to go?
I think he does.
dude, I fucking love this album so much.
Yeah!
It's been like maybe 2 years since I've heard it. And when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good," but I don't know. I didn't fully take the ticket or buy the ticket, take the ride, if you know what I mean. Like
I think
this fucking album, I was hitchhiking on the side of a desert highway, and this album pulled up in a fucking cherry red convertible with nothing on but a Hawaiian shirt, nothing underneath, smoking a cigarette, going, "Get in, kid." And I just fucking got in, and I took the goddamn ride. This shit, I agree with you, Nick. Like, this album really goes all over the place. It's a roller coaster, but, like, I'm there for it, man. I fucking love this shit. I love how this whole album, fitting with the theme of the album cover, this whole album is someone flipping through TV channels. And you hear it in between each song. You hear the static, and, like, I love the little inserts of, like, fake and real, like, TV ads and news stories and things like that. Yeah. The audio sampling. But this is some good old fucking classic, like, political thrash. And I just love it. This is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, highlights for me, Greed, Spontaneous is a fucking really good song. Oh, There Stood the Fence, beautiful. There's some really beautiful stuff on this album, like somber, depressing, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, there's like a sad ballad in the middle, and I'm like, what's it called? Yeah. There Stood the Fence.
There Stood the Fence.
Yeah.
There Stood the Fence. But, like, there's a lot of, like, really soothing, introspective sort of instrumentals during this. Like, not just that one ballad playing in the middle. Yeah, just at random parts and random songs, they will just do some instrumental shit that's fucking beautiful. Reminds me of, like, some Annihilator sort of instrumentals.
Yeah, no, and you're not far off from Annihilator. And it's like, I think Jeff Waters would have been right at home playing on this album too. And I think that comparison is fairly apt. But yeah, man, and I think, again, we, as much as we like Wizards and Satan and Warriors and shit, the political aspect of thrash metal, skewing American society, or just talking about these things, these issues, and like I think this album has a theme of about what media does to people and things like that, and in advertising, and that being part of a sick kind of like system of control to keep people asleep while the powers that be play their chess games. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is really heady stuff, and I think it's just brilliant album from an incredible band.
I said if you listen to Annihilator and Stradivarius at the same time, you get this.
Ooh, there you go. Interesting.
Yeah. I like that.
And I wasn't really sure what to expect when they were saying, because I read, technical thrash. I'm like, I think I know what that means. And then within the first like 2 tracks, I was like, that's what that meant. Okay,
yeah.
But I would like you were saying, I would have called it like technical power thrash, but I'm kind of a pedantic bastard that way. But sure. Yeah, no, it's a fun album.
Yeah, and right on. So sounds like we all loved it. This is awesome. I want to go back and listen to World Circus now. I want to check out their other albums, the newer ones. Like, wow. Great. It's a high time for a Toxic revisit, and thank you, Chase. This was an excellent pick. So I think we've got Dylan's Demolition up next.
Yes, sir. This week I chose Necrovore's Divus de Mortis from 1987.
Oh my god.
These are a Texas death outfit. Fans of Possessed Seven Churches may want to try this out. Just a suggestion. No, I'm just kidding. Fucking listen to this album.
Yeah.
What did you guys think?
I think this rules. I mean, Necrovore is one of the most influential bands that never made an album. I mean, and this is like, this is 1987. This is prime death metal time in the underground. Like when that's really starting to take hold. Because remember at this time, thrash has broken into the mainstream, and so death metal is the underground. More so.
Yeah.
Thrash is kind of living is day walking. It's the living in both worlds. But death metal is like, is firmly, this is the underground shit right now. The most underground. And this does kill. And while it reminds me of Possessed, it also reminds me of like the early Morbid Angel, like that Kingdom Come demo. Or even some of the early Death stuff from their demo period.
Yeah.
But yeah, Necrovore is awesome. Another great Texas band. Like, Jesus, there was a lot of incredible Texas metal in the 80s. And yeah, Necrovore, rad. I thought this was totally sick. I love that you picked this, man.
Right on.
This is another band I have actually never heard before. So this is a complete, I was taken. Okay, first let me start here. I was like, oh, damn, what part of South America is it? Texas?
Yeah, it's South America.
But yeah, I was completely, I was like, this is like a sarcophago cousin, like an adjacent sort of thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, Texas. Oh, cool. But no, those like early extreme, the extreme vocals, the choice that the guy, like, holy crap, completely overwhelming. Just despite the demo not being the you good, man?
Yeah, sorry, sneezing.
No, you're cool. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, the mixing wasn't the best on this one, but despite that, everything just, dude, I love this demo. I listened to it multiple times.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I listened to it a bunch, and it's the songs and the vibe come through.
Yes.
This Necrovore was not bullshit. Man, even if they had made an album, it would be considered one of the like greatest classics of death metal.
I'm sure.
I'm sure. Because I know this demo is considered like, oh my god, like it's one of the grails, like one of the big tapes from this period, from the underground. So yeah, don't have a lot more to say. Oh, just like Necrovore rules. What were you saying, man?
I had no idea. Like, I thought I was picking another, like, esoteric one demo fucking guys that disappeared forever, but you said you knew them, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, I guess I made a good choice.
You really did. But no, this fucking rules, dude. This is sick shit.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to pick this. When I first listened to it, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I listened to it the next day again, and I was like, I'm not sure. And then I listened to it a third time, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is good. I do like this. I am picking this.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you did. This is great.
Ditto.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah, Necrovore. Bitchin'. So I guess we can move on to Hardcore Hall of Fame. And this week I chose 7 Seconds debut album, The Crew. Hardcore with cleaner vocals than we usually pick with. But I think the songs really have a lot of impact. And the energy is really great. I think this band's terrific, and they're still going. Songs like "What If There's a War in America," for example, like
yes.
Whoa, What are some highlights for you guys?
Young Till I Die.
Yeah. So good.
Definite Choice, Clenched Fist, Black Eyes, not just Voice Fund and Colorblind were my standouts on there.
Yeah, and like
the little rap. Oh. Sorry, the little rap that they go into in Colorblind, it made me giggle the first time I heard it, but the second time I was like, no, I kind of like that. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I also think that this is the best version of my least favorite type of punk vocal. So the best, yeah.
Yeah. I think you and I are on the same wavelength of like the Bad Religion. What's that other band? Social Distortion kind of voice is kind of like, And this is
Yeah, there
a
you go.
little like that, but better. So
Better.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the best version of I've heard, totally.
Yes, yeah. Um, and it's interesting that you have come to that same place with me, Chase. Interesting of not caring for that. It's like, no, these are wimpy vocals in punk. Yeah, it's not hardcore enough. Uh,
No, you got to be a little more assertive.
yeah, I
Put the
got to be
bass in
more
your voice.
assertive. But I think these guys are like the music is a little more aggressive than those other
Yeah,
two bands, and I think that helps sell these vocals a little better.
I
Uh,
I concur. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Seconds, the front man, isn't that funny? Um, he has said like, sorry, I just never had like could come up with like a harsh, voice or whatever. But with him, it works. So
Yeah.
it's fine. And I'm like we like clean vocals in metal. It's fine if they're in punk too. I mean like, um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I
a good.
don't I don't mind the vocals at all here.
No, they're really good. I
Okay.
think.
Like
Actually.
I like how I like vocals like this because I think it makes the music a little more accessible for people that may not be too interested in this type of music, but like they might want to dip their toe in a bit, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
And I'm not a gatekeeper about any of this shit. I hate gatekeepers, so
I hate that too. So yeah.
that's fine with me. If the vocals are a little less harsh and it lets some more fans come in and find some music they like, then I'm happy with that.
Yeah, if this is a good gateway hardcore band, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to graduate from your 77 punk, your Ramones, your Sex Pistols, your Clash stuff into something a little more aggressive, hey, 7 Seconds could be that band.
Yes.
And right on. But great band, still going. They have tons of records. I just said, hey, let's do the first one. Yeah, I really like the energy.
This is very the energy in this is almost like party like. I feel like this would make some good party music, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
I
almost
get that.
like
Except it's all social stuff. It's
I know. Well,
it's
there's
not
nothing wrong with that.
it's not party rock because they're all talking about real stuff.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's bouncy. It is fun sounding.
Melodically,
Yeah.
musically, melodically, it's high energy. It's
Yeah.
positive sounding.
like a bunch of teens on the beach could be playing volleyball to it, kind of in a way, but not.
They could.
I'm thinking more a bunch of punks, a bunch of greasy punks in a backyard slamming beers, but
Well, okay. Yeah, a backyard without a single blade of grass, because you've seen those punk houses. You know what I mean, though. We've all been to those punk house shows, and it's like a house is destroyed, the yard is dead.
Garbage bags full of beer cans.
Oh my God! Always a big fire pit.
Or two. A couch or two outside.
Yep. Yes, we have been to the punk house. Okay. All right. So yeah, 7 Seconds. That was my pick. The Crew. Okay. So that was from 1984, and they were formed in 1980. So this is like they're totally a second wave punk group. So, but anyway, but yeah, song of the week. Let's do song of the week. Let's start with Chase.
All right. We got Spellcasters Locked On off their 2011 album Under the Spell. And I am just a sucker for dogfights in my metal songs, I guess, because, Aces High, Aces in Exile, I love both those songs, and this one. This one's got a twist. It's in space. It's got a whole battle for Gavin sort of thing. Yo.
Is this really song? I've never thought this song was about a spaceship fight.
Dude,
Really?
I totally hear space in this one, yeah.
I never got that. Okay. But, you and I have a lot of history with this band.
Yes.
Especially me. 'Cause I ran with these guys for years, especially during this era of the band. There's kind of two iterations of Spellcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think musically is really good. I think always the detractor for me on this record in general, and the song in particular, was some pretty dicey lyrics of just like, that's not what that word means, or that is complete gibberish, like, like that kind of thing drives me crazy, but and there's a lot of that on this album, and so it's like, but I love these guys, love Corey Boyd, love Thomas, the original singer, and Gabe, of course, but the playing is really good, and I will say, you're totally put in the place of the song takes you to that place. Like you're
in a dogfight.
Yeah,
you're under fire.
It's funny. I laughed though because I was like, this is probably my least favorite song on this record.
Wow.
It's very close. It's very close to being my least favorite song on this record. But cool pick. Dylan, what do you think of this one, man?
Yeah, no, I love this. Fucking Spellcaster rules, dude. I don't have any history with them, but I do love them. Since you sent me some of their cassettes, this is a bitchin' rockin' tune. I loved it. I don't have much more to say besides that.
Yeah, it's funny. I joke with people. It's like, I saw Spellcaster like 100 times, but like, I know that's an exaggeration, but it's not an exaggeration that I probably did see them like 50 times. Which is a lot. That's a lot to see any band. Okay. So why don't we go on to Dylan's song of the week? You picked The Magus by Sadistic Execution.
The Magus? I think it's the Magus. I'm saying Magus because I'm thinking of Deep Space Nine. I
don't get the reference, but a Magus is like a Magus is like a dark wizard.
Yeah.
And it's Magus, so it's okay. The song is great. This band, they just put out ripping shit,
some good old Australian fucking deathy, thrashy, rip your face off.
Yeah.
I love this song. I just want to say this song is insanely groovy. For how heavy Sadistic Execution's shit is, this song is super fucking groovy. Like, it's got some nice fucking melodies in it, and you're just like, I don't know, you're on like an inner tube going down the fucking rapids when you're listening to this. You're just letting the waters take you wherever they want, and
man,
I'm fine with that.
Somebody get this man to a theme park. Man, you're talking about roller coasters, tubing down the rapids.
Take me to Six Flags.
Oh man, yeah. But okay, yeah. No, and this kicks ass. I mean, I don't have much to say. It's just like, oh, it's rips. Okay, cool. Chase, what do you have, man?
This is my first time listening to Sadistic Execution.
And
if you come back with the other half of my face at any point in time, that'd be great, because they fucking ripped it to square the fuck off, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Right, no, yeah. Holy God. That's why I sank in my chair when you brought it up. I was like, oh God, this thing. I think I'm traumatized.
Oh man, but in a good way, right? The good kind of trauma.
No. Oh God, I keep saying no, but I mean, yes, this is amazing. Holy shit, yes. This is one of those bands that it proves the not old saying, but the saying, or I don't know what you call it, but the more harsh the environment that the metal comes from, the more the environment wants to kill you, the more the weather wants to kill you, the more the government might want to fuck you up, the more extreme the metal. So South America, Southeast Asia, anywhere in Africa, fucking Australia, I mean, you get a higher chance of that rip your face off fucking bestial metal. And you got it, man. You got it.
Yeah, and it's funny. I can think of like 4 or 5 Australian metal bands, and they all rule.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's Bestial Warlust. Isn't Destroyer 666 from there too?
Yes.
Okay, Sadistic Execution, Mortal Sin, and what was that one we talked about? Steve the comedian was in that band. Something Lord, Slaughter Lord.
Slaughter Lord.
Yeah, like that's the big 5 of Australian metal, or to me. It's funny because it's all like just ripping, thrash or death thrash. It's pretty good. But yeah, sometimes when you're yeah, what Chase said. I don't have it. But okay, yeah. Are we good on this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to say this is probably one of the best, heaviest metal songs that I know. Like, I know plenty of extremely heavy fucking metal songs, but none are nearly as, like, groovy and melodic as this one. I don't know. I'm happy when I am at a red light and a guy pulls up next to me and he's blasting, like, some very shitty rap, and this song just happens to come on my stereo, and I crank it up to full volume to drown him out.
As you
This is
do.
the perfect song for that.
Isn't it funny how people with the worst taste in music have like the best car stereos?
Yeah. There's a lot of that around here.
What can you do?
America, a land without taste. But that's a thing. So my song of the week, I had a different way of going about my pick this week. Okay, like so the album this is from was on my work playlist this week, and I was like, okay, I knew it's going to be a song from this record, but it was hard to pick one because every song is great on Sound of White Noise. It really is Anthrax's masterpiece. I don't care that it's not really a thrash metal album. It is a great rock album, and like every song is really good. And John Bush sings on it, so it's godlike.
Automatic win? Yeah.
What'd you say?
Automatic win. Yeah.
Automatic win.
Yeah. No,
So
yeah.
John Bush rules. But anyway, so I chose 1,000 Points of Hate from Anthrax's 1993 album, Sound of White Noise. Great song. I ended up settling on this one, and there were so many others I could have picked, but I chose this one just because I think there's some unique vocal choices and some different phrasing. I think like where they decide to put vocal lines, and just like some just different weird shit in this song. What did you guys think?
This is my first time. No, I'm kidding. I actually think it's you say it's like their masterpiece. I agree that it's a great album of theirs, but I also say that it's underrated because I've always heard terrible things. People are always like, because like you said, it's not a thrash album. But fuck them, this album's great.
Yeah, and here's the thing: there people generally have one of two opinions about this record. Either they think it's brilliant music, or they have that attitude. And it's like, yeah, if you're a boring asshole who only listens to metal and wants everything to be the same all the time, then yeah, you're going to hate this. You're going to be a dick. But if you're somebody who has like, other things in your musical diet and you're not like doing this all the time, like, okay, no. Just trying to shave off and have and like kind of narrow the scope of what you listen to. If you have a healthy and open attitude about music in a general sense, this is a fantastic album. Like anyone who could just come to like the table like, oh, play me an album, a record. I don't care about what genre. I think you would be hard pressed to be like to have a negative opinion about the music on this record because it's really good. And this song is a prime example. I think it's like 11 songs or something like that, and they're all great. So yeah.
What I liked about this song, is that Charlie is clearly taking it a little easy in this song, but you could still like, even though it's a fairly simplistic beat, it's still fairly like you could hear him in there.
Oh yeah,
and that's a hallmark of a good drummer is that it doesn't matter how complex or how simple it is, you still hear that, oh, it's Charlie, he's doing his thing.
Yeah, well, and I love that. Yeah, and here's the thing: a good drummer knows when not to do a bunch of like fancy fills or complicated stuff. Sometimes it's like, oh, just keep it in the pocket. Yep. Like you can be a Neil Peart or you can be a Charlie Watts or you can be both. And I think that Charlie Benante is capable of either of those things. I think he's such a great drummer. He's really underrated too. People talk about their top metal drummers, and there's usually like Dave Lombardo, Gene Hoglan,
Great.
maybe
Right.
Paul Bostaff, or you know, some of these other guys, and they're all great guys. But Charlie is definitely in that class. He's excellent. Um, um, so yeah, Dylan, you've been so patient.
um, yeah, I find myself surprised. I love all these classic '80s thrashy bands, of course. But I usually stick to their like most popular earliest material. And every time I go and I listen to something like from a year that I wouldn't think like that they released something that great, like this, for instance, I fucking loved this song. And
Yeah,
I want to go listen to the rest of this album because this sounds like my kind of shit. Like I'm saying, I keep finding myself surprised that like when we were talking of when we were doing like that Judas Priest Maiden kind of split thing, and we were
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
those later Priest albums that you guys didn't really like a whole lot, but I liked them
Yeah.
because they came out at, like around the time when I was a kid, and they
Sure.
sounded way different than Priest regular shit. Like this is interesting. This is really
Yeah,
interesting shit. That does this doesn't sound like Anthrax, but in a good way, and it makes me want to go listen to the rest of that, if you know what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
truth.
a last note I have for it, sorry, was that this album comes off. It's comfortably 90s, like
Yes.
that. Not just
Yeah,
the not just like the fact that that's when everybody seemed to take their experimental turn. You know, Metallica, Megadeth, etc. Uh, but lost my train of thought.
interesting though that
Yeah,
it's. I feel like we are. It turns out this turns into an album review, but like this album
yeah,
and this song, you know, yes, it is. It is. You know, it's from the '90s, and it sounds like a record from there, but it sounds like a good record from that time.
yes,
You know, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not like one of those albums that fills up the whole CD. Like that was so annoying because it would be you would just have like half an album of filler from all these bands. You know,
yeah,
uh, and um, but yeah, I because here's the thing, I love this album. It's one of my favorite albums of all time, but not in the context of metal. It's just in the context of music.
yeah.
Sure.
You know, it's and also, so I got into this in probably 95, early 96, something like that. I'm in junior high. I think I was in junior high. I think I'm probably in like eighth grade. And I think so it would have been like 95. Um, and a guy on the bus was like, hey, my brother's got these, because I'm getting into metal. I'm barely starting out, right? Um, and this was the first like non-radio band that I got into, I feel. And the brother of the guy that was my classmate, he's like, oh yeah, he's got these two Anthrax albums, and you can have them for like $5. So I had, you know, I'm a kid, I don't have much money, but I had that, and so I bought him, and I got this and Persistence of Time at the same time, and was introduced to the Van Halen, you know, the Roth and Hagar of Anthrax at the same time, and I got introduced to two great albums that were night and day from each other, totally different. And it was just kind of blew my mind. And I loved Anthrax and was open to anything that they were going to present to me. So as I worked my way back and forward, it was just pure enjoyment for me. And that was a really good place to start with this band. It's not where most people started with them, but I recently revisited both records, and it was just such a feel-good experience for me. Loved it. So yeah,
I love hearing that.
it
I
just
love
made me
hearing that
really
kind of
happy.
story, man.
Yeah. I'm pretty good here. Do you guys have anything else on this song? 1,000 Points of Hate. Great song.
No, it's just
Uh,
great bitchin' tune.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like I guess not the last note, but screw it. Anyway, I think it's he has like this like I can't tell if he's being serious with like the tough guy kind of thing in there, but it doesn't feel like it's like 100% like you know I can't tell if he's like
It's not a broy tough guy thing. It's we're talking
yeah,
about tough guy shit. You know what I mean?
yes, yeah, thank you, god damn.
Yeah, it's okay. And I love this song and this record in general, just because like it may not have been like this period of Anthrax was not like commercially successful.
Yeah.
But as far as breaking new ground musically, it was. And I will love this album, and I'll love them for it forever. You know, I'm so glad I got to see Anthrax with John Bush. Yeah, just I fucking love this album. It's one of my favorite records of all time. So, thanks for indulging me, guys. But so I guess we just So I guess we just have the our upcoming shows segment to hit. I gotta apologize. I know I said I was gonna update the calendar, but I've been very busy this week, including manager stuff for Atomic Terror, because I manage them. Lots of big stuff in the works with Atomic Terror. I'll just say that. Lots of really exciting things that you'll hear about soon. But yeah, let's hit the concert calendar. We've got coming up April 5th, Bewitcher and Death Chant with the band R.I.P. in support. Who I don't know them, and hopefully I'll find them, be able to find that band without a whole ton of effort. I mean, Jesus, they're called R.I.P. But anyway, double dose of speed metal plus whatever R.I.P. do. That's gonna be a cool time. April 10th that's at the Twilight. April 10th at the Hawthorne Theater, Warbringer. Hey, I've heard of those guys. With support from Allegaon, Skeletal Remains, and Summoning the Lich. It's got a lot of technical thrash and death metal shit. That's a guitar player's dream is that show. But yeah, that'll be a cool time. Unfortunately, I have to miss it. But and then April 11th at High Watermark, Early Moods, Magic Potion, and Seductor. This is a doom and traditional metal show. That should be a cool time. Let's see, April 17th, 80s Power Metal Legends, Heir Apparent are playing their first ever Portland show with support from Tower Hill, Serpent Rider, and I Am the Intimidator. Serpent Rider, I've heard, they're really good. Let's see, and then April 25th, we've got a big old thrash show at the Blackwater. Velocity and PILAU bringing the thrash. Portland speed metal goofballs Blade and up and coming just raging hardcore thrashers Betrayer. I got to see them and they are great. I saw their first show and at the Kenton Club, and they were excellent, and I'm looking forward to seeing them again. This is going to be a dope show. We're absolutely going to be there. April 29th at the Roseland, Obituary with support from so many great bands: Nails, Terror, Spirit World, and Pest Control. That's going to be an awesome night. And I think they're playing Cause of Death in its entirety. It's like, man, I'm really bummed because this is feels like the Obituary tour to catch. But you just can't hit everything. May 11th, Persecutor, Vueltas, and Hadean at the High Watermark. It's a punk, black and roll, and traditional metal show. That's a heck of a mixed bill. Sunday night, I can't do it, but people who go, let us report back. Let us know how that went down. And then June 3rd, Napalm Death and the Melvins, with support from the Hard-Ons, will be at the Revolution Hall. That's going to be a great time. There's a bunch of other great shows coming up sooner than this. I just need to update our calendar. We will be talking about that stuff. Things I'm really excited about too. That's the show this week. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Chase, why don't you hit us with the sign-off?
All right. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come on, feel the noise.
Girls, rock your voice. We'll get wild, wild, wild. Anyway, good night, everybody.